And we're back. So thanks for joining us again in the short rows. Tonight we're here to continue our conversation with some of the candidates. We're here tonight with school board candidate Mikasa Melvin. And Mr. Melvin has come all the way from Roseboro to Mingo to be with us and talk with us a little bit about his campaign and some of the issues that are on his mind. So let's welcome Mikasa in, and we're certainly glad to have you.
I'm super happy to be back. I enjoyed my time at Mingo Grange speaking down at Plainview Activity Center. Met a lot of great folks down there, so I'm thankful to have the welcome back down here to be in your home and your beautiful place. So.
Good deal. Well, we are glad to have you, Mikasa. Now, you're from Roseboro.
Yes, sir.
Have you been there all your life?
Been a kid from Roseboro my entire life. I know if anybody knows about Sampson County, Roseboro's about the size of Los Angeles. And so I've been there my entire life. For a while in my life, I went to Clinton and stayed with my mom until I turned about 14, and I moved back to Roseboro. But the reason I say I've been there my entire life because my dad, I was with him and his family every weekend, every holiday. Anytime I wanted to be there, Roseboro to Clinton's a 12-mile drive. So I've been in Roseboro my entire life. That's where the basis of my family is. And when I got ready to start a family, that's where I wanted my family to be started. So yeah, I'm a true kid from Roseboro, man. Small town guy.
That's great. That's great. We like home folks.
Yeah, for sure.
We like home folks.
For sure.
Now, Mikasa, you have told us that, I think you mentioned at the forum the other night that you came from the teacher's assistant side of education.
For sure.
Tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a teacher's assistant.
Well, I can't start out any conversation about education without me starting about my mentor, Mr. Gerald Johnson, who was from Garland, North Carolina. And he was a principal that hired me in 1999. And I was a small fellow. I wasn't quite as big as I was now, and I was just turning 21 years old. And I walked in his office, and the story was, let me start over. The story was that I was laying on my granddad's floor, and he said, "Son, you're going to go to school. What are you going to do?" And I said, "Granddad, I don't know." He said, "Boy, you need to get to that school and see if that man will give you a broom. If he'll give you a broom, you can sweep for 30 years, and you'll have a little money after 30 years." So I thought about that, and I started to sub, and then I met Mr. Johnson, who was hiring for an assistant. And what he said to me when I went in his office was, he said, "I want to give you this job for about 6 months to end the school year," because I came in December. "I want to give you this job, and at the end of the year, if you do well, we'll hire again next year." So I'm 26 years later, and another job within education. And without Mr. Johnson giving me that opportunity at such a young age to get my feet wet and to make me responsible, because when we had the ending conversation, it was you help every child that comes in that school. He didn't tell me to help a certain color or a certain size or a certain ability or non-ability. He said you help every child. So that's been kind of the basis of me, is every child matters to me.
That's great. That's great. Now, for being an assistant, I know that's it's a lot like being a teacher because you're helping the kids on work and projects, but you also deal with a lot of things that are going on in the sidelines, right?
For sure. Being an assistant, it's a job that you'll change your hats throughout the days. You know, in the mornings we help the kids. A lot of assistants drive buses. They're the ones that get our babies to the school. So their job is super important. Then they get off those buses and they come in. Well, when I would come into school, I have to make sure all my kids' homework is put in place, and just to make sure all my babies have had a good night. I would ask my kids, have you eaten tonight? What did you do last night? Did you do your homework? So you get this mentality where not only are you the teacher's assistant, but you're an integral part of that classroom, because everybody in the school, it takes that whole school to make everything move.
That's great. Great. Now, where are you an assistant at?
So I was an assistant at Salemburg Elementary School.
Salemburg.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's a pretty new school, comparatively.
We were built in 1999 is when it was finished. 2000 was the first year. So Salemburg is now 25 years old and 25 years beautiful.
That was the exact conversation that Michael and I had the other night. Michael Elmore, we talked about, we have all these new schools, but we call them the New Clement, but it's 25 years old.
That's right.
It's
25 years old too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Roseburg, Salemburg is. I had forgot it was that old.
Yeah, we're 25 years old, but our staff, our custodial staff, and we take pride in where we are. So our school looks like a brand new school. So I love when people say, "Your new school." I had some folks walk through a few weeks back, and they couldn't believe that we took that good care of our school. We take pride in our place.
Okay, Mikasa, we have, you and I have talked a little bit previously about some of the things you're doing. You are working with a community outreach type program now. Is that correct? Tell us a little bit about that.
So last year, Sampson County Schools, and especially the Lakewood District, was blessed to get Student U out of Durham, North Carolina, which is a nonprofit that's based out of Durham, to bring in 4 community schools coordinators. So each of the 4 Lakewood districts have a coordinator. And my job as a coordinator is to serve that child holistically, to make sure that they have everything they need when they come into our learning environment so they can learn at a successful rate. So I make sure my babies are clothed. I make sure my babies are fed. At times I paid folks rent, made sure they had light bills in place, and just checking on people. And also a part of my job is make sure that the morale at my school stays high. Because if my teachers aren't happy and ready to work, we won't have a great learning environment that day. So not only do I take care of my students and my community, I take care of my staff, and that's very important also.
Great. Well, something caused you to want to run for the Board of Education. Tell us a little bit about what Mikasa Melvin wants to see done if you make it on the board.
Sampson County Schools has always done a great job, but my mindset is we could be a little more innovative. We could push the envelope a little more. We have to learn from other counties. We may not have the money and the assets to say the Durhams and the Wakes and the Mecklenburg counties, Charlotte areas may have, but I think my part of the board would be to be innovative and to push things to a new forefront. And also, sometimes as a staff, and I've been an assistant for 26 years, and I know how some of the staff feel, we don't feel like that we're appreciated and respected. And so I want to bring that respect back to the classroom and also to the assistants and to the custodians and to the bus drivers, that we're not just a number, that we mean something, that we just can't be easily replaced. And so those are really my key things, is the innovation. Let's push Sampson County as far as we can push it and make sure we take care of our staff and our students. Our staff is the groundwork, that's the foundation. And if you don't have a good foundation, your home will fall apart. So you want to make sure that you build a strong foundation. Make sure that we're higher internal. We've got smart people right here in Sampson County. And I think Sampson County Schools could do a better job of pushing internal to get folks within our system so they can be the next principals and superintendents of different areas within the school system and leaders. So that's one of my main focuses also.
Great. That sounds reasonable.
That's very reasonable.
I like that idea. We've talked a little bit with the other candidate about some of our, we call it an aging fleet of schools, because, like we just mentioned, Sacklenburg's 25 years old now.
Right.
If we're looking at a 50-year lifespan on the building, we're halfway there.
Right. Yes, sir.
Do you have any plans or any goals or aspirations? Do you see anything with Sampson County, the physical schools, that we could do differently now?
Well, we do have some schools in our county, and bless us for Hopman for getting them a new building, hoping they get every part of that they building that they have so they can bring pride to them also. But yeah, we do have some aging buildings in our area, and what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start talking to our senators and our legislators. We've got get some money pushed towards public education. What we have to do is get our per pupil spending up around $20,000, and that way we'll take care of buildings, it'll take care of raises for our teachers and assistants. Right now, North Carolina is at the bottom in spending each student, and I want to get Sampson County up. So I would do everything I could to work with my town commissioners and also my folks up in Raleigh to build that relationship so they would know the importance of public education and what we need in Sampson County and other rural counties in North Carolina that don't have the advantages of our big city areas that have big taxes and big places in there that they can get money from. But we need to work with higher folks in order to get our schools in a better place.
I think that's very reasonable. That's a great plan.
Yes, sir.
Underfunding is a thing we've become accustomed to.
Yes.
We don't have a county commissioner or a board that has a great pool of money to draw from, like other local counties
for sure.
Next to us. That's for certain. Well, what do you think, Mikasa? When we look at the Board of Education and we look at everything that's going on, do you think that everything in the county is evenly represented? I mean, I know we have different districts, and everybody's at large.
Right.
Do you feel that that's sufficient, or are we stacking the board one way too much or another? Let's just be honest and open about it.
Well, my thought on that was that when you become a part of a public service such as a school board, then you have to start building those internal relationships. And I think in Sampson County, sometimes we are divided by certain areas, but we all love our county. So I said, one thing that we need to start doing is having good, strong conversations and honest conversations. Get in rooms together and find out what side of each county and what's actually needed, not just what we think is needed. Like I always tell people, I can't look through the windows of your home and tell you what needs to be done. I have to be inside that house. So we need to get in places together and have those strong conversations so we'll figure out who needs a little more and who may need a little less, and not just point fingers and say, well, they've got more. There's reasons behind things, and we need to get to those reasons. So I think just building relationships across it, no matter the demographic, like you said, at large, that's correct. Republicans and Democrats, we're talking about education, and that goes across everybody. So I think it's important that we get in those rooms, and that's what Sampson County Board of Education is supposed to do, is get in that room from all parts of Sampson County and figure out what each part needed to make our county as best as possible for our babies.
That's great. That's great. I certainly don't see anything you're saying I don't agree with.
Yes, sir.
I really don't. And that's a shame that we don't sit down and have these kind of conversations to where we could discuss and start to work it out.
Right.
Being fellow Samsonians, we've got a lot more that we have in common than we have against us.
Oh, for sure.
And it's just a matter of sitting down and talking through it and getting ourselves in a position that we can, all sides can give up a little bit to gain a lot.
That's exactly what
Don't you think?
I think that's how things supposed to go. I think that's the way that the Bible teaches us. I think that's the way the older folks taught us, to that we may not, we agree to disagree sometime, but we still work together for the betterment of the goal of what we're trying to accomplish. So yes, in your words, exactly.
Now, we've been talking a little bit, and we're going to talk to Mr. Jones probably a lot more about this. SROs
Yes.
in the community. We talked with Jennifer Naylor it's been almost a couple of weeks ago now, and we were talking about the alternative school over at the old Midway Elementary, and how they had just they're developing a new policy about elementary kids going over there as an alternative to being expelled from school. We discussed school safety. What's Mikasa's thoughts about school safety?
Well, I'll give you my pros from the beginning. I'm truly thankful that our county has an SRO at each school. I think when people drive by and they see a Sampson County Sheriff deputy car in front of that school, if you had a bad thought, you may not want to go through with your thought. So that makes me feel good. I have Officer Price at my school who does a good job of walking my hallways and helping us out in any situation that we have. So I think that's one of the pros. We're seeing that car sitting at every school, and I've seen times when things will go on at other schools, and that officer would get over there very quickly and help whatever matter it may be. And also it gives our kids a chance to look at law enforcement from a good way and not always seeing the bad thing that the media makes or bad things that truly do go on. It gives our kids to get close to our law enforcement too. So I think that's something good also. Now, on the other hand, our schools need to be super secure. I think fobs at every school, knowing who's coming out of our school, in and out of our schools, making sure we take a proper check on anybody who enters our building was one of our keys to safety. Not just letting anybody come in the front door of our schools. And I think Sampson County does a good job of that also. So that's kind of my key on school safety. I think things go pretty well overall. Make sure that our staff is well equipped with the knowledge to know what to do when these situations go on. Training goes a long way. I'd rather be proactive and reactive, so making sure we're doing our fire drills, making sure we're doing our tornado drills, making sure we're doing our drills if somebody bad would enter our building. I think it's key to safety, keeping everybody prepared and on the same page.
That's good. And contact with the SRO.
For sure.
That's something that I haven't heard anybody else mention, and I think that's great because, growing up,
right,
as a teenager, we looked at the cops as the enemy.
Oh, for sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And getting that into the kids at a younger age, I think that's a good point.
It brings a sense of respect for the job that you lose if you were to see them show up at your house for something that wasn't quite right. You don't respect those folks any kind of way because they may have came and something happened to your family that wasn't the way you wanted to be on staff. Mm-hmm. We get a chance to see them on a level that they're playing with the kids. They're speaking in the morning. They're giving them a hug. We're patting on the back. It's not always bad when we see Officer Price. We had a wonderful Officer Gray last year. Officer Gray's a great guy, man. Every time he saw our babies, he's hugging. So that gives, and then our parents feel secure when they come around that corner and they see little Jamie, and I'm standing out there waving them in, and there I have a man in badge and suit. You can go to work. He can go to work. You can go to work and you can feel safe that afternoon. The way you sent your babies, the way your baby's coming back.
I think that's excellent. That's excellent. That's an excellent approach. We don't think about it a lot of times like that, and that's a good way to put it. Is there anything that we've not touched on that maybe Mr. Melvin, when you become a member of the board,
Sure.
you get that laminated tag.
I can't wait.
Mr. Melvin.
I want the sign in front of
Yeah.
it says Mikasa Melvin.
Okay, you go that? Yes, sir. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I really won't. Yeah.
Is there anything that you would see as Mr. Melvin that you really would want to work for that maybe we haven't talked about?
Well, I just want all the voters and the folks of Sampson County to know that I'm truly appreciative of the support that I have gotten so far from all sides. Sometimes when you jump into races and you feel like you're a small man, and when people telling you things, you may not be quite as small as you are. And I think my voice and where I come from and my start in education should give anybody a counterpart to know that you can do it. I spent a lot of time up in Raleigh, a little small town fellow from Sampson County. I spent a lot of time up in Raleigh working with NCAE, trying to make things better for the entire state, not only us. So I think you can definitely be active when you want to be active, and nothing should hold you back from being successful. So I just want everybody to know that this means a lot to me. This isn't just something to say that I am. This is something to say that I do. And this is something that I want to be held accountable for. I want my fellow Sampsonians to see me at the IGA and ask me, what about this and what about that? And I want to be honest and come back with an answer. Even if you don't like it, I want to come back with an answer, because that's the public service job that I am asking for. And I want everybody's support. Thank you very much.
Excellent. I have enjoyed our time
Always love talking to you, man. Always. I do. I'm serious.
You don't let me very well.
Good conversations, man. Good people, man. Met some good people along the way.
But my friend, you have done a good job so far, and we've heard a lot of good things about your campaign.
Thank you.
And we're excited to see you be on this board.
Hey, I'm excited.
And that's what our hope will be, that we need good people on that board.
Mr. Rich, let me say the way that you do that is when you go in that poll this next week and on the 3rd, there's just a little circle. That name says Mikasa Melvin. Just take something and mark that bubble in. That's all you have to do, and I'll be here.
Well, Mikasa, I hope you get a lot of people to fill in that bubble.
Yes, sir.
I really do.
Yes, sir.
And we are so glad to have had you here. We're glad that we've had this time together tonight with Mr. Melvin, and we certainly believe we're going to hear more out of him in the future, whether it be with the Board of Education or something even bigger. And I hope that he remembers us.
I will.
This door is always open to you, Mr. Melvin. If you get an issue and we're still doing this thing, you're welcome to come back anytime and speak with us, and we will try our best to help get you the support and the confidence that you need to push this thing through.
Thank you for the open invitation, man. Thank you.
Well, sir, for the Bingo Grange and in the Short Rows, we're so glad to be here. This is Wayne, and we're signing out for tonight. Thank you so much.